Everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to my first official YouTube video. I am so excited to finally sit down and do a video, and today I am going to be talking about knowing your self-worth and a little bit about my sickle cell journey. If this is something that would interest you, please keep on watching. Before I continue, if you're seeing my face for the first time, you're definitely welcome. You will definitely find value in this channel, so please do well to subscribe. For those that have subscribed already, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like this video at the end and share with your friends, and comment below so that we can build this community. So today I'm going to be talking about knowing your self-worth and a little bit about my sickle cell journey. So I'm sure people that know me are wondering, what exactly do you want to talk about? So I'm going to talk a little about my sickle cell journey. The story of that will still come in another video, but in a nutshell, it has a lot to do with knowing your self-worth. So growing up, I don't think I realized that I had sickle cell maybe up until about, I think I was 10. And I just realized that a lot of people were doing things and I was kind of restricted. So I grew up pretty comfortable, and I thank God for that. But I just found out that a lot of the times when people are like playing outside or just doing normal kid stuff, I was always very restricted from doing that. So don't run, don't do this, and don't do that. And I don't think I quite understood why. My mom is in the medical field. She's a nurse. So, I think that played into the awareness very early on for my family as to how to deal with, someone with a child with sickle cell. So I just felt like I was very restricted. My dad being in the oil field, we traveled quite a bit. And so eventually we came back and we settled back in Nigeria. And I just remembered that I was very restricted from doing so many things. So when I came to the realization that I was different from a lot of people was, I believe I want to say when I was 10. I just realized that, I would get sick a lot. I would be very ill. My mom, like I said, she was a nurse. She was working for the hospital at the time. So she would basically treat me, right? So, she knew the doses of what I needed. She knew, exactly that I was having a pain crisis and, what to do and things like that. And my recovery was always pretty fast, just because, again, I grew up in a home where, we were aware of what was going on and things like that. So, and growing up, that being restricted so much from doing so many things kind of, I would say, messed with me, because I then felt useless to a point, because essentially a lot of things that people would do my age, I couldn't do. For example, I couldn't do sports. I remember that I tried to do sports in school one day. I think I ended up fainting or something like that when I was in primary school. So a lot of the times, I couldn't do what a lot of my friends and my mates were doing. And that kind of it was depressing. I didn't know the word back then, but then in retrospect, it was depressing. And so I just kind of felt useless. They wouldn't let me do it anyway, so why bother? I remember that in secondary school, I wanted to go to hostel so bad, the boarding house. And I only did that from, I believe, GS1 to GS2, because every weekend my mom would have to come, take me back home, because I was just getting ill a lot. So that was short-lived. And then I ended up doing the day student until I came to America. And then things changed from then on. But how does this tie into knowing your self-worth? I think a lot of us, especially women, we struggle with a lot of things that we can't even tell anyone. For example, you may have freckles and that bothers you, and so you feel intimidated, or your self-esteem kind of diminishes because of that. Or you have stretch marks. I know that a lot of people talk about that. And so little things like that kind of sets you apart from others would kind of bring down your self-worth. And so I'm here as a sickle cell, I would say, a survivor, because I'm still here by the grace of God. I feel like that has helped me with my self-worth, because this is what makes me me. This is I have sickle cell, but I've not let it stop me. I am limited in what I can do or cannot do, but I have not let it stop me from living. In other videos, I would definitely talk about in depth about what sickle cell is and my sickle cell story and the limitations I've faced. But today I just want to talk about knowing your self-worth. And how do you know your self-worth? How do you value yourself? First things first is accepting yourself for who you are. Accepting yourself means knowing that yes, you do have this restriction or limitation, but you're not going to let it stop you. And how do you do that? How do you have to just, you don't deny it. I don't deny that I have sickle cell, for example. I don't deny that I am limited in what I can do, but I'm not going to wallow in that forever. I mean, life has to go on, right? Obviously, when there's life, there is still hope. So accepting the fact that you have a limitation and, how can I deal with this limitation? How can I make the best of this limitation? And so that's the first step in knowing your self-worth. The second step in knowing your self-worth is tackling it. And so how do you tackle, this limitation or this restriction that you have? First, you've accepted that you have it. So let's say stretch marks, right? I have stretch marks. Oh my God, it bothers me. Or I have freckles, or I'm overweight and it bothers me, right? Is it something that you can take care of? Is it something that you can, enhance? For example, maybe you feel like you're a little thick or a little fluffy. If as hard as that might be, is it just maybe taking gradual steps in taking care of that weight by working out, exercising, or things like that? Or you know what, this is who I am and this is what I'm gonna do. So tackling it doesn't necessarily have to mean getting rid of it, right? I wish I could get rid of sickle cell. Unfortunately, that's impossible. So I've tackled it by, okay, I know I've accepted that I have this, and how am I going to then continue to live life with this issue? So you tackle whatever the limitation that you're facing is. And once you tackle it, so first accept who you are, second tackle it. The third step is the fact that your uniqueness is, let it sink into the point that you start to accept that, okay, this is who I am and it's not going anywhere. I mean, there are some limitations or restrictions, or there are some things that we deal with as human beings that we can work towards. So for example, you want to get surgery, you feel like, what, exercise is not for me, go for it. I mean, it all has to do with your mind and what you're being led to do. But then, just bask in it and enjoy the process. Know that you are you for who you are unique, and no one is going to be you, and you cannot, other people. So just bask in the glory of what God has endowed you with. And so that's what I would, those are the things I would say that, would improve your self-worth. Because what I've learned over time is if you don't value yourself, if you don't appreciate yourself, which we don't do a lot of as women or, as mothers, as wives, we don't really value ourselves. We wait for someone to compliment us, or we wait for our husband to give us that kudos that we're looking for. But if we don't continue to reassure ourselves, holding on to your faith if that's what you have, or just building your self-confidence, either by reading books or by just reading things that would edify you and make you feel that this is who you are and there's no change in it and you have to accept it. I think that would go a long way. So compliment yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and don't wait for someone to tell you you look good. Understand that you look good with your uniqueness, with whatever it is that sets you apart. Understand that you look good. And so without making this video too long or super long, I'm going to end here by saying that 3 ways that you can know your self-worth and your value is: number 1, accepting it; number 2, tackle it; and number 3, bask in it. So basically enjoy the process. And in subsequent videos, like I said, I will be talking a little bit more about myself. I'll be talking about my sickle cell journey, how I've been able to manage, well, I wouldn't say I manage it, right? So I think, that's just coming to the realization again that this is who I am. So how I've been able to just see things differently, especially relationships, because it matters a lot. I'm also going to talk about, talk about my relationship with my husband, because having sickle cell is a big ordeal. I mean, in the parts of Africa that I am from, where sickle cell is very prevalent, one of the things before you even go into marriage is making sure that as a person with sickle cell, you're not carrying this disease onto your children, and you're finding someone that's compatible genetically, as awful as that sounds with you. So I'm going to be talking more about that in subsequent videos. If there's anything else you want me to talk about, please leave it in the comment section, or you can find me on Instagram. My handle or the link to my Instagram would be also in the description box below. And also I will be doing a about me tag. So if there are specific questions, you can ask me. I will definitely answer. This has been so fun to film, and I'm just so excited that I finally did it. If you guys don't know, I feel like I'm so shy. I'm sure a lot of my friends will probably disagree with this, but I am so introverted. Like, this has been a big deal, and I'm just glad that I finally got a chance to do it. So please subscribe, share it with your friends, and just keep on keeping on, and by God's grace we'll make it through. Don't forget to share, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And if you want to see more interesting and valuable content, please turn on your notification bell so that every time I post a video, you would be the first to know. That I have come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you for sticking around, and take care, and make sure you love yourself and tell yourself something beautiful today. Bye-bye.